All right, YouTube, welcome to another chapter of The Power of Awareness by Neville Goddard. Today's chapter is chapter 13, Acceptance. In this chapter, we're going to talk about why it is we manifest what we manifest. I mean, we've talked about it before in all the previous chapters. Who you say that you are, your concept of self, all these type of things. But how do these concepts of self become what they become? How do they harden into fact? How come these states of consciousness, how do these states of consciousness come into being, in other words? That's what this chapter is about. How essentially you go from one state to another. We now recognize that states of consciousness, or the state of the wish fulfilled, wills the means. But how do we enter a new state of consciousness? How do we go from one state of consciousness to another? That's what this chapter is about. It's a fairly long episode comparatively to the previous ones, but it's very repetitive, so bear with me. Now, as I've said before in all the previous chapters, as you're listening to this, truly, I want you to listen as though you already are the person you want to be. Put aside any of the yeah buts, or what about this situation, or how is this ever going to happen, and just listen to this, but listen from the state of consciousness that you already are the person. You don't need any reason to feel that way. You don't need any proof to feel that way. You can just choose to feel that way. Okay? And keeping this in mind and knowing that you are this person, I want you to listen to this and consider how this is a reminder of how you became who you've always wanted to be. All right? Also, I haven't done this yet in any of the chapters, but please like and subscribe if you really enjoy what's going on. And also, if you got any insights, any questions, or maybe even your own life experiences, and you want to share it down in the comments below, it'd be greatly appreciated, as it's going to help this channel grow. So let's jump right into it. The Power of Awareness, Chapter 13, Acceptance. Man's perceptions are not bounded by organs of perception. He perceives more than sense, though ever so acute, can discover. However much you seem to be living in a material world, you are actually living in a world of imagination. The outer, physical events of life are the fruit of forgotten blossom times, results of previous and usually forgotten states of consciousness. They are the ends running true to oft times forgotten imaginative origins. Whenever you become completely absorbed in an emotional state, you are at that moment assuming the feeling of the state fulfilled. If persisted in, whatsoever you are intensely emotional about, you will experience in your world. These periods of absorption, or of concentrated attention, are the beginnings of the things you harvest. It is in such moments that you are exercising your creative power, the only creative power there is. At the end of these periods or moments of absorption, you speed from these imaginative states where you have been not physically to where you physically were an instant ago. In these periods, the imagined state is so real that when you return to the objective world and find that it is not the same as the imagined state, it is an actual shock. You have seen something in imagination with such vividness that you now wonder whether the evidence of your senses can now be believed, and like Keats, you ask, was it a vision or a waking dream? Fled is that music. Do I wake or sleep? This shock reverses your time sense. By this is meant that instead of your experience resulting from your past, it now becomes the result of being in imagination where you have not yet been physically. In effect, this moves you across a bridge of incident to the physical realization of your imagined state. The man who at will can assume whatever state he pleases has found the keys to the kingdom of heaven. The keys are desire, imagination, and a steadily focused attention on the feeling of the wish fulfilled. To such a man, any undesirable objective fact is no longer a reality, and the ardent wish no longer a dream. Prove me now herewith, saith the Lord of hosts, if I will not open you the windows of heaven and pour you out a blessing that there shall not be room enough to receive it. The windows of heaven may not be open and the treasure seized by strong will, but they open of themselves and present their treasures as free gifts. A gift that comes when absorption reaches such a degree that it results in a feeling of complete acceptance. The passage from your present state to the feeling of your wish fulfilled is not across a gap. There is continuity between the so-called real and unreal. To cross from one state to the other, you simply extend your feelers, trust your touch, and enter fully into the spirit of what you are doing. Not by might, nor by power, but by the Spirit, saith the Lord of hosts. Assume the spirit, the feeling of the wish fulfilled, and you will have opened the windows to receive the blessing. To assume a state is to get into the spirit of it. Your triumphs will be a surprise only to those who did not know your hidden passage from the state of longing to the assumption of the wish fulfilled. The Lord of hosts will not respond to your wish until you have assumed the feeling of already being what you want to be, for acceptance is the channel of His action. Acceptance is the Lord of hosts in action. So that was the Power of Awareness, chapter 13, acceptance. The Lord of hosts is acceptance. So I don't know what your goal is. You who's listening to this. Perhaps it's better health. Perhaps it's the love of your life. Perhaps it's more money. House, car. A friend or family member doing better. Your country thriving, your community thriving, your family thriving, you thriving, your business associates thriving. I don't know what your desire is. There are infinite desires upon every human being. But to desire is not enough. In fact, as soon as the desire arises within you, that should be all you need to know in order to accept the desire as already done. And it's the feeling of normality. It's the feeling of this is usual to you. It feels granted. Clients of mine have told me it feels like a relief. When you feel it, and you know that you saw it. It's like that poem said, right? It's like, was it a vision or a walking dream? I couldn't tell the difference between this world and that world. Well, Neville's trying to remind you that we live in a world of imagination. We are free to choose who we are going to be. And we're given to choose at any given moment. Because that's all we actually have, is what we're choosing right now. And what you choose right now, good, bad, or indifferent, will be harvested at some point in the future. So I hope that as you were listening to this, you were listening to it from the aspect of somebody who already recognizes that they are the person that they want to be, rather than, let me click on another video and hope that this is going to be the one that clicks. I'm telling you, right now, you already are that person. You already are. The only person who's saying that you aren't is your old man, is your old identity, your old stories, your old beliefs, your old state of consciousness. But up until now, you didn't know that. But right now, you are that person. And you will persist in that assumption until it hardens into fact. But the fact of the matter is, you already are it. That's it. And then, as far as walking across a bridge of incident, I don't know how long the bridge of incident is. It could be an instant. In fact, I know it's an instant, because as soon as you accept it, you feel it in your body. The first part of the universe that you experience in this world is your body, your mind, and your body. So those are the first things to change. And if they change, the rest of the world is just playing catch up. So I'm gonna leave it there. We're gonna dive even deeper. I think we're technically halfway through now. I guess halfway through would be this chapter and next chapter. So next chapter is chapter 14, Effortless Way. We're getting towards the end, you guys, and I'm really enjoying these experiences with you. Again, if you liked what you heard here, you like my interpretation of this, any other, do me a favor, like and subscribe. Also, check out the description to see if any of my offerings would help. But other than that, you guys, y'all are awesome. Peace and hair grease.